Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Network Merchandise Shop. Pick up your logo merchandise by heading over to abvnetwork.com, clicking on Shop, and start filling your basket today. We are also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for something for yourself, a customized gift, or logoed items for your business gift shop, the Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. That's the number 2 in the Bar to Go. Don't forget our friends at Neely Family Distillery now ship their unique distilled spirits directly to you. To order yours, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we continue our Greatest Distillery Series by focusing on Limestone Branch. My name is Steve Akeley. Please join me in welcoming our special guests, Della, Robert Licorice, and Katie Joyce. Hey, gang, how's it going?
Hello.
Going
Hello.
well. Going well.
So we, at some point during the show, hopefully during the show, we'll be joined by Beka. She's our normal announcer, and she had some car problems with her husband, Royce, and they are driving her to where her computer's set up at this point, right as we speak here. So assuming all things go well, she should pop in at some point in the middle of the show, which would be cool, but we can go ahead and get things rolling without her. So the first thing I want to talk about here is Della. So I'm on Instagram the other day, and I love Della's stuff. It cracks me up, and it's all over the place. It was one of the first things I did when you're a writer and you're trying to get noticed. You do all kinds of crazy things, and one of the first things I ever did was I reached out to Della and I was like, I just wanted to talk about your account, and I wrote a thing about it, and because it's all over the place. It's literally relationship advice. It's X-rated things. It's about her life in general too. Sometimes it's cooking stuff. You just never know what Della's going to be talking about. And in this post, and it started out very normal. She's like, I haven't been to the dentist since the COVID thing. It was shut down for a while, the dentist and all this, and got back. And then she drops the line. But I had to find a new dentist because last time I was there, I cussed out a bunch of people. And then she went on. The rest of the post didn't address it. It went on to say how much she liked the new dentist and it was great, and she loves this new place that she's at. But and that's cool. I'm glad you found a great place, but I don't care about any of that. What I want to hear about, what leads to you cussing out a bunch of people at the dentist office, and how bad was it? And yes, I agree with you. If you cuss out people at the dentist office, go somewhere else. I wouldn't go back there. No way.
I'm like, okay, now like the pandemic it's not over, but it's, dentist offices are opening back up. I'm like, it's been 14 months and I'm like kind of paranoid about always being orally hygienic. And I'm like, okay, it's been about 14 months and I haven't been, and I need to find a dentist because I knew that there's no way I could show my face back up at the other one. Plus, I gone on Yelp and Google and Facebook and just talked about them so bad that I was like, I can't go back.
You don't want to show up there with your tail between your legs and be like, hey, how's it going? I'm here for my next appointment.
I let all my teeth rot out before I went back there.
Good seeing you. Yes, they get the drill out there. Oh, it would have been bad.
Everybody's there. It's my husband, both of my sons. We're all it's that time of the year. So we're getting the x-rays, the exams, the cleanings and all of that. And they start saying, like it started feeling like I was at a used car dealership. They started like, or when you go get an oil change and you just want an oil change and they come back and they tell you like there are 50,000 different things.
Right.
And so they're not on the same page. The one person is telling me that, oh, you need this, and you need this special tray, and you need all these cleaning things, and we sell this, and they are trying to sell me literally everything in the office. And then the hygienist comes and she's like, no, you don't need that. No, you don't need that. She's about oral health. She's not trying to make a buck. And so she's just telling us, no, you don't need that. You don't need that. There's no cavities here and blah, blah, blah. But there's this person walking around with this clipboard, and she is all about business. She is trying to add on this and this and this. And we're all done except for my husband. He's in the back. And he's like, they're telling him, yeah, you need this and this and this, and we're going to sign you up for this. And he's like, and he texts me like, I need you back here. And so somebody comes out and they're like, yeah, he's not making any decisions. He needs you to come back there. And I was like, okay, I'll come back there. So I sit down and she's like saying all this stuff. And I was just like, okay. And before we could agree or make up our mind what needed to be done. And she's like, comes back with this 8-page bill, like, yeah, so this is the cost. We've already charged your card and blah blah. And I was just like, where the hell did they do that at? And I just like started going off. I'm like, well, you can go back and you can refund. We never gave you the permission to do that. We never told you that we even agreed on the work that you said needed to be done. And then she's like having trouble. She all of a sudden doesn't know how to put a refund back on a card. And I'm like, well, you better figure it out. Yeah. And then she calls someone else. And I'm just like making a scene like, where do they do this at? I can't believe this. You charge our card. I was like, so I kind of went off on her and a couple other people. I'm like, this is just after the money. You just want money and you don't care about our teeth and blah, blah, blah. And so,
I agree. When you get the wrong dentist, it can be like a used car sales.
It felt like it was so pressurized. It was like weird because I had bought this toothbrush. Actually, I'm going to say this was like a dentist chain, like a McDonald's. So I had been going to the one dentist on one side of town. And since we moved, I started going to in the same chain, but a different office. And this office was like night and day from the previous office. This office was all about business, all about money, so she's like, yeah, you need to buy this toothbrush that we have. And I said, you know what? I bought it. I did buy it. I have it. I use it. I bought it at the other office. No, we've made upgrades to it. And then she started charging me for new toothbrush heads. And I was like, I don't need toothbrush heads. I had plenty from when I bought the toothbrush before. So it was so pressurized and so crazy. And I just snapped like.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was first out on my own, I went to the dentist that my parents had always taken me to, but I didn't like the guy because I always felt like we go to the dentist, whatever, twice a year. And at least one of those visits, I'd have a cavity and have to get something filled. I'm like, I don't think my teeth are that bad. So then I quit going to the dentist as an adult. I'm like, I'm just not going to go there. So there was like 8 years I didn't go to the dentist. I just got angry. And over that, so you think, well, then I finally find a dentist as a buddy of mine who goes to dental school. I'm like, perfect. I'll go to you. So I go to him. No cavities during that 8 years. And now I've been going to this guy like 15 years since then, and no cavities at all since then either. I haven't had a cavity since I left my mom and dad's dentist back, I don't know, however long ago that was. I think he was just, it would be like, I'm going on vacation, need a couple bucks. Yeah, you and everyone else who's in that day has a cavity.
I feel the same way because I thought that I was really, really good with my oral at home healthcare. And then when I would go in there, they would be like, oh God, this is this, and this is so bad and blah, blah, blah. So this new dentist that I went to the other day, and it's been 14 months. So I'm like, I know she's going to say, you could be doing this or you should be doing that or whatever. And I lay down and she's like, oh my God, you've been taking really good care of your teeth. And she was like, there are no cavities. And she was like, and she's flossing my teeth and she's cleaning them. She's like, your teeth are pretty white. She was like, you've been doing a good job. So I'm on the same page as you. Like it was just like, yeah, let me tell them there's something wrong so I can do some work so I can get some. I mean, I'm just sure all like in the car thing, like a
bad mechanic will be like, yeah, you got this wrong. And of course, you don't know any better. You don't know anything how a car works. I don't. If they tell me something's wrong, I pay for it. So that's why you got to have a trusted mechanic.
Plus, the receptionist kept after every phone call when I was sitting in the waiting office, she kept saying, "Okay, bye," and that was irritating the shit out of me.
Well, that's enough reason. Katie, any issues like this? Any dental things in the past? Any problems?
So my dentist is a close family friend. We're actually related technically if you go back far enough. So like we have Christmas with them every year and like go hang out. So I've always had wonderful experiences with the dentist personally. And then also my orthodontist, he needed a divorce at the same time I needed braces. And my dad was an attorney as well. So it worked out really well that they were able to do a little trading there.
I love that.
Yeah.
I've had wonderful experiences.
Wonderful experiences. Okay. All right. Well, good for you. I'm glad. So far, 1 out of 3. So let's see how Robert, dental problems are always been smooth sailing for you.
The dentist I have right now is great. Again,
everything you'd expect. But the one I had when I was in St. Louis, I actually had to switch to a different one.
I might have been going to my guy.
I had to go over to Illinois to get a dentist when I was in St. Louis, because I went to this guy, the first guy after kind of my childhood one, and the guy wanted to pull out all my fillings and do crowns and do all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like 3 crowns, and I was like, oh, there's no way, one, I'm paying for this, but two, so then I switched dentists just to get a second opinion, and lo and behold, it was all BS.
It's like scare tactics. They were like, you don't want to lose your teeth, do you? And it's like, is that where I am? Like, I'm about to lose my teeth. Yeah.
They're like, oh, you got these old silver fillings. Yeah, that's going to poison you and kill you at some point. And I was just like, that doesn't
mercury,
seem right.
That mercury.
I was like, what?
Huh. Yeah. So there you go. The key is once you get a good dentist, and again, ever since it's been my buddy, no issues at all. He's been great to deal with, and so it's just about finding the right dentist. So if you're having problems with your dentist, bottom line, find someone else.
Don't stick with them.
Don't stick with the person. Cuss them out and then go somewhere else.
If you take reasonable care of your teeth and you have cavities at every single visit, then go get a second opinion.
Can't be right.
Yeah.
Some of it though really is just the pH levels of your mouth, I found out. And so because I know some people that rarely like floss or go into the dentist and have like no issues.
That pisses me off. That is my husband. Yeah.
That's how my ex was, that he hadn't gone into the dentist for like 12 years, like ever since he moved out of his parents' house, and finally got him to go. And the dentist was like, oh no, actually you have like hardly any plaque, like no cavities, no issues. And I'm like, you mother lover, like you don't even try. Like,
yeah. So I don't know. I just feel justified myself. And then I haven't even had one cavity since I got rid of the old dentist. I'm telling you, I got a mouthful of fillings right now that are I didn't need any of them. My parents paid for those when I was growing up and stuck with them today. So what are you going to do? All right. Guess what? It is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Della. Della's been away for a while. She couldn't use Zoom, and we had switched to Zoom. Couldn't do Zoom, and now she's back on though. I was
a security risk, but I am not anymore.
Okay, all right.
Old Ezra.
Oh, all right. Good choice.
Let's see.
Let's see what we got here. Okay, good. Good.
Decent.
Nice.
That could be good enough. I think it will be better than mine. I've got old Fantail bottle Kentucky Spirit, and from Wild Turkey. Let's see what we got here. No, not as good as Della's. Della, again, as I predicted, has the lead. It's a well-loved bottle I got, so I wasn't expecting much. Looks like Katie's ready to go, so she'll go next.
Yes, I have some Yellowstone.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, we should have followed the theme.
I like it.
Yeah.
I gotta get my hands on one of those.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice. No. You still got the lead. Yeah, hold on. Despite Katie's new microphone.
New microphone every episode.
Yeah, we keep having that. There's people that keep investing in new microphones. They want to win the cork pop. So I don't know if you know Heidi and Jim Fosnot that come on the show. So Jim called me and asked that I don't have Heidi on any more shows and she's pretty regular. And I said, well, why? And he's like, every time she's on, she wants to win the cork pop. So she goes out and shops the stuff we don't need. And last time it was $180. And he's like, I can't spend $180 every time she comes on and does your shows. $180. So yeah. So there you go. All right, Robert, you're the last one. It's between you and Della here. What do you got?
All right, I'm doing the Joseph Magnus cigar blend today. So
looks like a well-loved bottle. I don't expect much here. We'll see. Nothing at all. Did you hear anything, Robert? We heard nothing.
Nothing.
No. Nothing. All right. Well, there you go. Cheers, gang. Congrats to Della.
Cheers.
All right. What we'll do next, we'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're talking Limestone Branch Distillery. We'll do that in just a few. Hello, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. And let's talk for a moment about our sponsors, the people that make this show happen. First up is our friends at Moonshine University. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification at their office in Louisville. The information I learned through lead instructor Colin Blake and their team there is something that I continue to draw upon frequently in my role at the ABV Network. It truly is the standard of establishing a benchmark of knowledge of the bourbon industry. From history to production to brands and people, it's all there. Check out their full listing of programs, including Executive Bourbon Steward certification, production classes if you're considering starting a distillery, and much more at moonshineuniversity.com. I also want to talk about Neely Family Distillery. Back in May of 2018, I met Royce Neely at Limestone Branch's Craft Bourbon Festival. It ended up not only being the start of a great friendship, I started to truly learn about what makes craft whiskey so amazing. You see, I had been a bourbon drinker for over 30 years at that point, and like many people who had been drinking bourbon a long time, I was hard-coded into thinking big bourbon was where it was at and craft was on a journey to get there. Spending time with Royce and learning the things he does to make his whiskey taste better started to really get me to appreciate how things like sweet mashing, open top fermentation, pot distillation, and the grains you are using not only makes your product taste better coming off the still, but also out of the barrel as well. I still love heritage brands and they make up a bulk of my collection. But when you find a craft distiller that is truly dedicated to the craft of distilling, you are drinking some of the best whiskey out there on the market today. That's exactly what's happening at Neely Family Distillery today. Check them out on the web at neelyfamilydistillery.com, or better yet, stop by and see them at their distillery in Sparta, Kentucky. And now, back to the show.
I'm MacNew. Don't mix your grain and grapes. Not a good time. You're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
All right, everybody, welcome back. My name is Steve Akeley. We've got a fun crew here today, and we're talking about Limestone Branch Distillery and why we love them. It's part of our Greatest Distillery Series, where we just focus on one individual distillery and we hit the highlights, why we like those distilleries so much. Anybody want to kick this thing off? What are some things you like about Limestone or their products that they make, like Yellowstone, like Katie was drinking, anything like that?
I would like to kick off with one of my favorite things from distilleries is when they have dogs. And they have, I even made sure I had their names ready. I believe it's Louie, Chase, and Char, and
Yes.
they all look adorable. And so a distillery that embraces a good dog or cat, but especially the cute dogs for distillery. I think that.
Yes, if you go by the distillery, they will have those dogs there. So Chase and Char are Steve Beam's dogs, and then Louie is Stephen Fonte's dog. But they're there. They're just house dogs, and they're great. They're just laid back. They're chill. Just kind of what you want a shop dog to be, and that's what they got going on there at the distillery. So that is definitely cool. Anything else?
I'd say probably more important, actually related to their whiskey and not something random that I like, is that I think, so they're a relatively newer company. I think it was 2010 when they officially started.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Limestone. And so, but they have the history, both in their family name. And then I think like in the product and kind of the appeal that they have as well, it feels old and like the history of whiskey there. So I like what they've done in a relatively short amount of time with their brand, I think is really impressive. That
yes.
When I was kind of looking up, I was surprised to know that they were that new of a company.
Yeah. So Steve and Paul Beam were the two that started the business, and they are related to both the Beam family, which you probably know by the last name, but they're also related to the Dance, another, big time whiskey family. So it's kind of the merger of those two families, and they try to represent both of those at their distillery, which is cool. And yeah, the Yellowstone was a brand that was started, by the Dance family. And, that was something that Steve Beam really wanted back. They didn't have, was owned by Luxco. So Della was drinking that Ezra. That was the company that owned it, and they ended up working on a partnership. And so that got Yellowstone back to Limestone Branch, and then took on an equity partner in Lux Row. And then now MGP is bought out Luxco. So Now we've got MGP involved, and I have talked to both of those guys, and it sounds like it's going really well. So they're kind of letting them do their own thing, which is cool. But they also have this backing behind them of this big operation that really can help with certain things. And there's some tough times out there right now, and having somebody really big behind you, right, Robert? When you're talking about glass and things like that, so you get somebody big like MGP can help out sometimes with those type of things, right?
Oh yeah,
I would think, yeah. Yeah,
like that. I want to guess what pretty much what Katie was saying. Like, I like that it feels old, even though it's new. And they have the Yellowstone in particular, which is the one that I keep saying I want to get my hands on. Their bourbon, it seems like something that you should have, something that you want.
Absolutely. Beka has joined us. Hey, Beka, how you doing? Sounds like a harrowing day. So yeah, no fun.
Yeah. I made it. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, we're just kicked off the part where we're talking about Limestone Branch. Haven't said too much so far. So I talked about the fact that we like the dogs that they've got there, and like the fact they've got the history tied into the Beam and Dant families and bringing back Yellowstone. So, and I know you've got plenty of experience. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about Yellowstone, or you want to? It looks like you're eating there. I can talk about some things, and we can come back to you.
Talk for a minute, Steve.
Sure.
I literally just sat down.
So a couple of the other things that I like is, the personalities there. When we think about big personalities, a lot of times we think, the big distilleries, whether it's, somebody from Jim Beam or Four Roses or, Buffalo Trace, but, they've got some big personalities at Limestone Branch. You've got Steve Beam, which is one of the nicest people in the industry, just a truly genuine person that is just great to talk to and just a really good man. And then, the kind of over the top, funny, a guy you could listen to tell stories all day is Stephen Fonte. And, he's had a couple different jobs there, brand ambassador, tour guide, but now he's kind of focused on the barrel picks, which has really helped them step up their game. And that's another thing to talk about. The things that are going on with Yellowstone is their barrel pick program. I see so many Yellowstone barrel picks right now, and Fonte's just killing it with that program. And they're great.
They're a blast.
Yeah.
I got to luckily be a part of one with Steve.
Mm-hmm.
We did the angel share pick, and that was, just entire experience. They do a whole tour with you, which you should. And then you get to sit outside, which they're outside, like their grounds are beautiful. And you get to sit outside and taste through stuff. Fonte didn't give us too many notes on things. He just let us taste through them and kind of figure out what we liked. And they had nice little notebooks, and they had nice pens, and they had everything was just down to a science when it came to the barrel picks.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
And he had
the
Louis.
World's smallest rick house.
World's smallest rick house. Yeah, they have one of those shipping containers behind there where they have all their experimental series and stuff like that. So that's cool. Smaller barrels. But and Louis, Beka has met Louis. Remember that Fonte had just gotten him when we did that barrel pick. So that was he was new to him at that point. So
And their
cool.
cocktails.
Yeah, cocktails are great there too.
Yeah.
They got a great cocktail program. They're big into cigars. So Beam and Fonte both like cigars. So they've got, cigar area at the distillery. So that's cool. Robert, how about you, man? What, anything you like about Limestone Branch?
We've talked about a lot of the great things about them, but I think for me is for such a young distillery to have achieved as much as they have and to be as widely spread out as they've done in just a decade is extremely impressive. I think it speaks a lot to, the team that they have there, but also just the quality of the product that they're putting out. And that's not easy, even when you have, securing barrels from different big guys to release. It's not always easy to get good stuff or to blend stuff. And I think it's really impressive what they've been able to achieve in just a really short amount of time.
Yeah. Of course, we love allocated bourbon and things like that, and we all want to get our hands on that. But I don't focus on anything. There's only two that I have to have. There's only two that I actually focus on, Little Book being one of those. So I loved the Little Book series, and I always got to get that. And then the other one is the Yellowstone limited edition that comes out every year. Those are the two that I have to have because they're obtainable. What I don't like about some of the others, you could say, well, what about the Four Roses? Yeah, I'd love to get that every year, but I can't. Sometimes I get it. I get lucky. Sometimes I don't. Or Pappy or the BTAC collection. Isn't that some of your favorites? Yeah. But I can't get that every year. So what I love about Yellowstone and the Little Book series is the fact that you can actually find those. If you like them and you're interested in those will be out on the shelves, and you can actually, as a fan, purchase those, which is cool. So definitely.
I find it extremely hard to believe that you can't get your hands on whatever you want.
You would think, but no.
You need to up your game here, man. You need to start extorting some people or something. Come on.
What? Steve is being denied something? I need to talk to somebody.
I'll say this much. I've never seen Steve be denied any sort of bourbon ever, so I'm not sure what he's talking about.
That's why I was like, who do I need to talk to? Something's not right here.
Yeah, Steve gets his hands on everything. Let's be real. Now he is talking about all of us that can't get our hands on everything. But when
he says sometimes, he is referring to us little people, not himself.
That's
okay.
True.
I got you.
I'd love to I get lucky in that there's a lot of fans of the shows, and I end up getting the help from individuals. Not necessarily, there's no liquor store where I'm affiliated with her like that. We'll get you everything. That doesn't happen, but you get lucky enough where people like what you're putting out as far as content, and then sometimes they help you out. So
that's me and beer. So I get you.
Yeah, you know what you're saying. Yeah. So, I mean, some of the distilleries help you out, which is cool, but then it ends up being really just individuals, people who like what you do. So yeah. And Della's got we could do a whole show on Della and the beer, and it's a whole network, friends and shipping
all the
beer
perks she gets.
Perks. Della knows what she's doing.
Everything. Media pass.
Della knows what she's doing. Yes. Yeah. By the presumptive close is what she does. It's like, I'm Della Fane with the ABV neck. Wait, you don't know.
I told you, if you speak with confidence, you can get into any place.
You know what's funny when you say that? What about speaking with confidence? I tell that to Royce all the time, because he is absolutely one of the most confident people that you'll meet, except for whenever we go anywhere and he tells people that he owns a distillery. They absolutely do not believe him for a second, because he goes, oh yeah, I own a distillery. And I'm like, you don't say it like you own a distillery, Royce. I'm like, no one believes you because you don't say it like you actually do own one.
It's almost under his breath. Yeah.
Our buddy Rick come up from Key West, and he pulled in. He goes, I honestly didn't even think you guys really had a place, but I'm here and this is actually real. I thought you guys were full of shit. I'm like,
he has to say it like this. I'm sure you've heard of Neely. And they will never ever admit that they haven't. No one. It's like that year I went to the San Diego Spirits Festival, and I walked in and I was like, yeah, I'm with the ABB network. I know you've heard of them. Like, they were afraid to say that they hadn't.
They're
heard
like, of course, yes. Oh.
They're like, yes. So yeah, of course I have. And I was like, right. So give me everything I want.
Hook me up.
Where's my press pass? Come on.
Right. Yeah.
Please. One. I did get one.
She did, of course. Mm-hmm. That was not going to be denied. So yeah. The only other thing you missed out on the show, Beka, was Della cussed out a bunch of people at her dentist the other day. So, or last year, I guess. So,
I love to hear it.
No. That was last year. Okay.
That was last year.
She said, I taught her kid how to swear.
Right.
I don't know, Della. It's kind of sounded like maybe it wasn't me.
So. Now that he's 16 and I curse, he just laughs every time. He's just like I'm uncomfortable. I can't believe the stuff that comes flying out of her mouth.
Yeah. There you go. Well, there you go. There's just a little show about our excitement and enthusiasm for the folks at Limestone Branch. They do a great job, and get out and see them. It is a must-see place. If you are in and you're doing tours, they're close to Maker's Mark. So if you're going to make it to that area, might as well shoot over and see what's going on in Lebanon, Kentucky, and see the team at Limestone Branch. So check them out. We'll wrap this one up, as we always do, by talking about where people can find us. Katie, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at KDProof.
All right, Robert.
You can find me basically on all the Iron Root stuff. So at Iron Root Republic on Facebook, or on Instagram and Twitter, Iron Root Whiskey.
All right, Della.
You can find me on Instagram and Untapped at 6 Feet of Dynamite. All
right, Miss Beka Sue.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
All right. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website, that thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. All of our previous shows, our blogs, so much more, abvnetwork.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you to please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See you.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.
Bye.
So, Dean, yes. Before we finish the show, let's chat for a moment about Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you just want to experiment on a small scale on the stove in your kitchen or try your hand at a bigger setup in the backyard, Moonshine Still Pro can help. They have different still offerings as well as accessories and even grains from Goldstone Mill to help you make whiskey on par with what you get from your favorite distillery. They can even assist with a DIY still project by supplying some of the parts you can't make yourself. Check them out at moonshinestillpro.com. At the ABV Network, we're lucky enough to have some great friends. Amongst those friends is the Goldstein family, owners of Goldstone Mill. Goldstone Mill is a full-service mill offering a variety of heritage and heirloom grains. Their unique approach of working with mills around the country allows them to offer you affordable shipping opportunities to meet the unique needs of your distillery or brewery. They will consult with you to ensure the grains you are selecting meets the unique flavor profiles you are looking for. If you are a home brewer or distiller and you're looking for the grains that your local distillery or brewery uses, Goldstone Mill is the place to look. Check them out on the web at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or shoot them an email at hello@goldstonemill.com.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.